Brock Lesnar just unleashed absolute carnage on Femi on Monday Night Raw, and what we witnessed was pure destruction. The Beast Incarnate sent a message that echoed throughout the entire WWE universe. You need to see this breakdown now. Welcome back to Suplex Rumble, the home of the most intense wrestling breakdowns on YouTube. I'm your host, and today we're dissecting one of the most brutal displays of dominance we've seen in recent memory. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that button right now because this is the content you've been searching for. Alright, let's establish the context here because this wasn't just some random match, this was a collision between two absolute powerhouses, and the implications are massive for WWE's future landscape. First, let's talk about Brock Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate, the Conqueror, a former UFC heavyweight champion, multiple-time WWE champion. This man has decimated everyone who stepped in front of him for over 2 decades. We're talking about someone who has defeated legends, ended streaks, and redefined what it means to be a dominant force in professional wrestling. Brock doesn't show up on Raw every week. When he appears, it's an event. The atmosphere changes, the energy shifts, and everyone knows that something significant is about to go down. His presence alone sends shockwaves through the entire roster. Now, on the other side, we have Femi, one of the most impressive rising stars in WWE today. This man has been demolishing competition, establishing himself as a force that cannot be ignored. Oba brings incredible athleticism, raw power, and an intensity that has captured the attention of wrestling fans worldwide. Femi represents the future of WWE. He's been on an absolute tear, making statement after statement, proving that he belongs on the biggest stages. His confidence level? Through the roof. He genuinely believed he could stand toe-to-toe with anyone, including a legend like Brock Lesnar. So when these two behemoths were scheduled to face each other on Monday Night Raw, the wrestling world stopped. This was David versus Goliath, except David was also a giant. Veteran dominance versus emerging power. The question everyone asked was, could Femi hang with the Beast? Or would Brock remind everyone why he's one of the most feared competitors in WWE history? Let me take you through this encounter moment by moment because every single second mattered in telling this incredible story. The bell rings, and immediately you could feel the tension in the arena. The crowd was absolutely electric, buzzing with anticipation. Femi came out aggressive, showing absolutely zero fear. This young lion was ready to prove himself against the ultimate predator. Oba started with a striking approach, throwing heavy shots, testing Brock's defenses. You could see the strategy. He wanted to use his speed advantage, his agility, to keep the beast off balance. And for a moment, just a moment, it looked like Oba might have a chance to control the pace. But then, Brock Lesnar did what Brock Lesnar does. He caught Oba mid-attack, and the expression on Brock's face said everything. It was that signature smirk, that look that says, now you've made a mistake, and I'm going to make you regret it. What happened next was an absolute clinic in power wrestling. Brock lifted Oba like he weighed nothing, and remember, Femi is not a small man, and delivered a German suplex that shook the entire ring. The impact echoed throughout the arena, and you could hear the collective gasp from the crowd. But Brock wasn't done. Oh no, not even close. He pulled Oba back up, delivered another German suplex, and then another. We're talking about multiple German suplexes, each one more devastating than the last. Oba was being ragdolled by the Beast Incarnate, and there was absolutely nothing he could do to stop it. The crowd was chanting "Suplex City" at the top of their lungs. This was vintage Brock Lesnar, showcasing exactly why he's been at the top of this industry for so long. Pure, unfiltered dominance. Now, here's where things went from dominant to downright devastating. Femi, to his credit, tried to mount some offense. He's a fighter, he's got heart, and he wasn't going to just lie down for anyone, even Brock Lesnar. Oba managed to create some separation, hit the ropes, and came back with a shoulder tackle that would have floored most competitors. But Brock? He barely moved. It was like watching someone run into a brick wall. The look on Oba's face said it all. He realized in that moment that he was dealing with something different, something special. Brock responded by absolutely launching Oba across the ring with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Oba went flying through the air like he was shot out of a cannon. The athleticism on display from both men was incredible, but Brock's raw power was just on another level. Every time Oba tried to build momentum, Brock would shut it down with devastating efficiency. A massive clothesline that nearly took Oba's head off. Knees to the midsection that clearly took the wind out of the rising star. Brock was methodical, calculated, and absolutely ruthless in his approach. And here's what makes Brock so special as a performer: he wasn't just throwing Oba around randomly. Every move had a purpose, every attack was calculated to break down his opponent both physically and mentally. This was a masterclass in dominant wrestling psychology. The turning point came when Brock hoisted Oba up for his signature F5. The crowd erupted. Everyone knew what was coming. Oba was in serious trouble, trapped in the Beast's clutches with nowhere to go. Boom! The F5 connected with devastating impact. Oba crashed to the mat, and you could feel the entire arena shake. That wasn't just a finishing move, that was a statement. Brock went for the cover, the referee counted, and it was over. Now, a normal competitor would have been satisfied with that victory, right? The match was won, the statement was made. But Brock Lesnar? He wasn't finished. After the bell rang, Brock stood over Oba's fallen body with that iconic Predator stare. The music was playing, the match was officially over, but the Beast had more to say. This wasn't just about winning a match, this was about sending a message to the entire WWE locker room. Brock pulled Oba back up, and the crowd's reaction was insane. Some were cheering the continued dominance, others were in complete shock at what they were witnessing. And then, bam! Another F5. Oba was already defeated, but Brock wanted to make absolutely certain that everyone understood the power hierarchy. From a storytelling perspective, this post-match assault was brilliant. It elevated the moment from just a victory to a defining statement. Brock was declaring that he's still the apex predator in WWE, that age hasn't diminished his dominance, and that anyone who challenges him will face the same fate as Oba Femi. Officials rushed to the ring, trying to get Brock to back off, but the Beast took his time. He surveyed the destruction he'd caused, acknowledged the crowd with that signature point, and then finally exited the ring, leaving Oba in need of medical attention. Okay, let's break down what this means for WWE moving forward, because this encounter has massive ramifications for multiple storylines. Implication number 1: Brock Lesnar has re-established himself as the dominant force on Monday Night Raw. Anyone with championship aspirations now has to acknowledge that the Beast is back in hunting mode. Whether you're the current champion or a contender, you're now looking over your shoulder. Implication number 2: this was a learning experience for Oba Femi. Now, before anyone says this burial, let me stop you right there. Losing to Brock Lesnar, especially in this fashion, doesn't diminish Oba's credibility. Some of the biggest stars in WWE history have been demolished by Brock and came back stronger. Think about it: John Cena, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, all of these legendary competitors have been on the receiving end of Brock's dominance at some point. What matters is how Oba responds to this defeat. Does he come back more hungry, more determined, more dangerous? That's where we build a star. Implication number 3: WWE Creative is clearly positioning Brock for something major. You don't bring back the Beast incarnate and have him destroy a rising talent unless you're building toward a significant program. Championship match? Dream match against another top star? A massive confrontation at an upcoming premium live event? The possibilities are endless. And implication number 4: the entire roster just got put on notice. If Brock can do this to someone as physically imposing as Oba Femi, what chance does anyone else have? This creates an atmosphere of legitimate concern among the roster, which makes for incredible television. Let's talk about how the WWE Universe responded to this absolute demolition, because social media went into overdrive. Twitter was flooded with reactions ranging from complete shock to absolute excitement. Wrestling fans were posting about how this reminded them of Pete Brock from years ago, how the Beast looks just as dangerous now as he did during his first WWE run. Some fans were concerned about Oba Femi, worried that this loss might hurt his momentum. But let me tell you, the majority of wrestling fans understand the long game here. They recognize that being in a high-profile segment with Brock Lesnar, even in defeat, elevates Oba's status. Other fans were already fantasy booking Brock's next moves. Who does he face next? Is he going after championship gold? Could we see dream matches that we've been waiting years for? The speculation is running wild, and that's exactly what WWE wants: engaged fans who are invested in what happens next. Reddit wrestling communities have been buzzing with breakdowns of every move, every moment, every subtle piece of storytelling from this encounter. That's the beautiful thing about professional wrestling: it creates these moments that become instant talking points across the entire fanbase. And perhaps most importantly, this segment has people who might not regularly watch Monday Night Raw talking about the show. That's the Brock Lesnar effect. He's a legitimate attraction who brings eyes to the product, and WWE knows exactly how valuable that is. Suplex Nation, what we witnessed on Monday Night Raw was professional wrestling at its most primal. Brock Lesnar reminded everyone why he's called the Beast Incarnate, why he's one of the most successful performers in WWE history, and why his presence alone changes the entire landscape of the company. For Oba Femi, this is a chapter in his story, not the final page. The absolute best wrestlers in history have faced devastating defeats and come back stronger. I genuinely believe we're going to see Oba use this experience as fuel to elevate his game even further. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below: who should Brock Lesnar face next? What do you want to see from Oba Femi's response to this destruction? Do you think anyone on the roster can stop the Beast right now? Let's get a conversation going, because your opinions matter here. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash the like button, subscribe to Suplex Rumble for more premium wrestling content, and hit the bell notification so you never miss another upload. we've got incredible content coming your way. Monday Night Raw just got a whole lot more dangerous with Brock Lesnar on the prowl. The wrestling world is on notice, and we'll be here to break down every moment. Until next time, Suplex Nation, stay hyped, stay passionate, and keep celebrating the amazing world of professional wrestling. I'll catch you in the next one. Visual enhancement suggestions. Use dynamic split-screen effects when comparing both competitors. Include on-screen graphics highlighting key statistics. Add chapter markers for viewer navigation. Use energetic transitions between segments. Incorporate original graphic designs representing both wrestlers' tone consistency. Maintain respectful commentary toward all performers. Celebrate the athleticism and storytelling. Balance excitement with professional analysis. Acknowledge both competitors' strengths. Engagement tactics. Ask direct questions to viewers. Encourage comments section discussion. Create anticipation for future content. Build community through inclusive language. This script delivers exciting, original wrestling commentary while fully respecting copyright guidelines and YouTube's community standards.